Welcome to Time for Hope, a faith-based mental health program. Join our host, certified clinical mental health counselor and Christian psychotherapist Dr. Freda Crews, and her guests as they discuss real-life issues and offer expert clinical advice and solid biblical application for any and all life situations. Now here's the host of Time for Hope, Dr. Freda Crews.
It's always a pleasure having you join us for another edition of Time for Hope. I'm Dr. Freda Crews, your host, and today I am being joined by Ashleigh Slater, author and founder of webzine Ungrind, and we will be discussing her recent book titled Team Us, which seeks to encourage couples to see themselves as a team in their marriages. Ashleigh also gives directions in her book for confronting disappointments, losses, and frustrations in a marriage by being intentionally aware and handling them as they arise. Stay with us as we learn what it means to work together as a team to fortify our marriages. And Ashleigh, it's great having you on Time for Hope.
Thank you so much, Dr. Freda. It's nice to be here.
You've done a great job with the book. There's something I like about it that especially stands out, and that is that it's a medium-sized book. These days we're seeing a lot of big, thick books come through, and not everybody likes to sit down and read a big, thick book. Right. Plus, yours was outlined in a way that is easy to understand and get your points across, which I greatly appreciate in a book. So I hope my viewers kind of pick up on that and we'll get a copy of your book. We are going to tell them some things that are in your book, but we're not going to tell them everything.
Okay, we won't totally spoil it for them.
No, we won't totally spoil it for them. I'd like to know where this idea of being a team in a marriage came from, since you and your fiance, first boyfriend, then fiance, were working on it and had come up with it to some degree even before you were married.
Well, I think that this idea of team has always been a part of our relationship from the very beginning, as you said, because we've been very intentional about growing together, which is basically the big idea in this, is that couples will be intentional about growing together and working with each other and being for each other. And that has been something that has been very important to us from the beginning. The actual idea of team for the book grew out of the chapter in conflict and working through conflict as a team. And as my publisher was going through the outline for the book, they saw that this idea of team really was a thread throughout the entire book, and that's how we came up with the title for it.
Yes, before you were married, you said that it came through friendship, purity, and good communication. And I was so happy that you had the word purity in there, because it's something that not a lot of couples are intentional about. Yes. And our young people today are getting less and less intentional about it. To me, it's sad, and that's one of the things that's happening in America. And of course, it is something that a couple needs to be thinking about and looking at even before marriage. So when you think of what in a marriage you do, you have friendship, you strive for purity, faithfulness, fidelity in a marriage, and of course, as a psychotherapist, as a counselor, we have always put a lot of attention on communication in a marriage. It's actually the key. If a couple cannot communicate, then there's not a whole lot of hope for the marriage.
Right, and for us it's funny because my husband and I both come from communication backgrounds. Like, that is what we studied in grad school. And my husband, Ted, likes to say, you know what, we didn't study communication because we're excellent at it. We studied it because we knew we needed growth. we knew we could do better at communication. And I think we've seen that in our relationship too, is communication is so important to keep those honest, open, channels between us, but we can always grow and we can always do better in that. And I think for us, that's been a strength from the very beginning, is being able to sit down and say, okay, this is where I'm coming from, this is where you're coming from. Let's figure out how we can
integrate.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Right.
There is that you use intentionality.
Yes.
I've done some teaching actually with the American Association of Christian Counselors in some conferences about intentionality in a marriage, and actually down to the nitty-gritty of a contract.
Interesting.
Which was a very, for a while, it was coming across often about marital contracts, and you might not have seen some of those books from the past, but and then with the contract, there of course is that intentionality, and it worked. It really was working well, and especially with couples that their marriage was in trouble,
right?
And they needed, a restoration. They needed some help with their marriages, and so forth. So communication with a contract can go together well.
Yeah, and it's interesting because we didn't actually have a contract. I wasn't aware of that. That's really interesting to learn. But we had both been through previous relationships where communication wasn't so well. They just didn't play out well. So when we decided to see where God was going to take our new relationship, we actually sat down with pieces of paper at a park. I like to say it was our war room. We created a war room. We sat down and we wrote down what we wanted to characterize our relationship, even that early on, because one, it was important that we were on the same page, and two, that we really walked out our relationship in a way that honored God, whether we ended up getting married or not, and honored each other. And that's a big part of purity too. For us, purity helped us just not only honor the other person, but stay clear, not cloud our judgment in our relationship, and really be able to focus on, our friendship, and where is God taking us as a couple? What does He have for us?
You were in control mentally, and you're really saying sex or impurity can cause you to lose control of rational thinking, so that you're not communicating from the head. You're communicating from well, we just could say it from the flesh rather than the head and heart, so to speak. So you and you actually made notes about friendship and purity and communication?
We made a list. Yeah, we sat down and we said, okay, we're starting off our relationship here. How do we want it to play out? Where do we want to, what areas do we want to focus on cultivating and really strengthening as we determine whether, God wants us to get married or not? And for us, I think friendship is such an important foundation of a marriage, and for us, that was something that we really focused on. So I think that may have been top of our list, is let's build a strong friendship with each other, because if we do get married, we've heard that you have moments where you're like, I'm not really sure I like my spouse right now. I don't feel like those tingles at the moment, but friendship can carry you through to the next point when you do feel those tingles again. We wrote down what we wanted to see in our relationship.
Well, the friendship also carried you to the lightheadedness and the laughter that you are talking or have talked, written about in your book. And I can't imagine a long-term marriage being without lightheadedness, laughter, fun, added into the mix, so to speak. If there isn't that in a relationship coming from friendship, then things can get even tougher
yes,
when things get tough.
Right, and laughter, my husband and I, that's one thing that we do well together, is we laugh well together. And so when we have hit seasons of, we've had miscarriage, job loss, financial stress, being able to laugh together has really helped us navigate those seasons well. And I think that one reason that we can laugh together well is this lightheartedness. I don't just mean the levity, I mean that we feel light with each other. We're not carrying these burdens around and these grudges towards each other. And because we know the other person isn't sitting there going, well, they did that last week and I'm still mad about it, we can be vulnerable with them, and we can be free, and that really lets us feel lighthearted, which lets us laugh together even more, which I think carries us through those hard seasons.
Well, there's a word you use too that has to do with flexibility and not being so rigid.
Right.
Anger is a very destructive force in a marriage. And there are those marriages that there's so much anger until there's never any laughter and fun, because when a spouse is angry all the time, it builds it up in the other spouse, or either they're hurt and they're grieving what is said to them in anger and so forth.
Right.
So there's no room for fun and laughter in a relationship. And that should be true even when children come along and you get to be a family. That there should be lots of fun, as it were, and laughter in a family, so that it's not so serious and the rules are not talked about all the time and so forth.
Right. And my kids will say, we'll ask them, okay, who's the craziest in the family? They'll be like, Papa, he's just so silly. Because he makes all of us laugh, and he keeps things very lighthearted as a family unit.
So, well, good for him.
Yes.
That's not always true, especially with men. Men are more prone to hold on to anger and speak their anger, I believe, than women as a general rule. And then, either before or after you were married, you created a map. You're suggesting creating a map, the way that you want your marriage to be, and the things that involves. And you say at least 3 things: strategy, and we've already mentioned the word intentionality, and integration, and we mentioned that. We're having to remember we are integrating 2 lives coming from 2 entirely different directions. Even if they're both good directions, it's still coming from 2 different directions that we're going to be integrating and putting 2 people. We're supposed to be becoming one according to God's plan, right? So let's pick up from there. They're telling me it's time for a break, and let's come back to this integration part and becoming one, as you already have written about in your book, and we will be right back. How can you make your marriage strong? What are some practical, everyday things you can do to insulate your marriage against divorce? The following are some things you can start on immediately, and they can be solid investments in the future of your marriage. Number 1 is concern. If your marriage is experiencing a lot of conflict or is not providing the meaning and fulfillment it was intended to, someone needs to express concern for its future. If you have expressed concern and your spouse is unresponsive, pray for direction and take the initiative to get started on securing your marriage. 2, commitment. Recommit yourself to the marriage and to each other. Resolve to stay with the marriage if at all possible, unless it is not physically safe. Commit to bringing God into the situation by submitting yourself, your mate, and your marriage to Him, seeking help direction, and strength. 3. Conflict management. Instead of continuing the circular and never-ending arguments, learn to communicate. Resolve to interrupt the power struggle or the need to control by choosing your battles and being willing to give in when you can, and it will make for peace. If necessary, find a qualified Christian counselor who can acquaint you with some basic keys to good communication. 4. Care. A marriage needs lots of tender, loving care. This means you must be attentive to your partner. You must try to understand his or her needs, and that you must be willing to meet his or her needs for love, security, and personhood within the relationship. 5. Compassion. Partners within a marriage will need forgiveness when they offend, understanding when they are difficult, empathy when they are hurting. These investments in your marriage can reap rich dividends. A good marriage is worth working and waiting for, and why not get started today? Thanks for staying with us on Time for Hope. Our guest for today is Ashleigh Slater, and we're talking about her book, Team Us. There is a subtitle to your book, Marriage Together.
Yes.
So that might explain to our viewers a little better about what it means, what you mean by Team Us.
Right.
But you're really encouraging couples to think of themselves as a team, working on their marriage, and also that includes family. I know you've got it in here, what a challenge it is to be a team when you have children, when you become a parent, because a lot of parents don't do well with that. The children learn that they can run to this one or that one to get what they want, so to speak, and that kind of tears up the idea of a team, doesn't it?
Yes, it does. And we found that parenting, really tested our teamwork even than just marriage itself, because suddenly we started seeing, as we had these little kids, to guide and to lead and to figure out, okay, what's the best way to do this or the best way to do that. We found, okay, not only do we have very different backgrounds and upbringings that influence how we parent, we also have very different personalities. I am like firstborn girl in the family. So I'm not extreme type A, but I'm type A. I have, schedules, and we need to do this at this time, and it needs to go this way. And my husband is lastborn boy, and he is very fly by the seat of his pants. So for us, sometimes we can find ourselves wanting to really, knock heads when it comes to, okay, what about bedtime for the kids? What time should they go to bed? And I'm like, well, here's the schedule. They need to be in bed by this time. And he's more like, oh, let's enjoy this time together before bed and just be real relaxed. And so for us, we've really had to not only figure out how to appreciate the uniqueness that we see in each other and what that uniqueness brings to our parenting, we've had to also learn to work together and not to contradict each other. Because sometimes I will have one child come and say, can I do this? And I'm like, well, what did your papa say? And she's like, well, he said no. And I said, well, then that's the answer, because I'm not going to go against your papa. We're a team. If he said no, then it's no. And so it's been a challenge to stick together, even when sometimes maybe I would have made a different decision than he did.
We're talking about integrating the integration of two people and two people becoming one, as God planned for marriages. And so you're really saying there is an integration of differences.
Yes.
We're going to have different opinions about things.
Yes.
And we're going to have differences come up, and then so what are we going to do as a team then? It's going to take that communication that you talk about, and that that intentionality and that also remembering that you have resolved that you're going to work these things out as a team. Wouldn't you put the word resolve in there, or covenant with each other, or something like that?
Yeah, and we've really found that it's not, I think for me, I've had to learn, it's not a matter of, as we integrate our lives, either going with my way for something or his way for something. Instead, figuring out a balance, finding a middle ground of, okay, what works best for us as a team? So it requires that not one of us change, but we both change, and we meet in the middle. And that requires patience with each other and persistence on our own part in making those changes rather than saying, no, you do it my way. So it's been really interesting for Ted and I as a couple to communicate well and figure out, okay, how can we do that in a way that benefits our marriage and benefits our kids now that we have kids also?
The word balance I like.
Yeah.
And when you think of differences in communicating and integrating, that word has to come out, that you find a balance with various situations that come up. It also requires, as you have in your book, and we're going to be talking about this, by the way, for 2 weeks, because you have enough in your book to cover 2 weeks of good information. But it requires sometimes that we let go, or that we give in as to what we think about it or what we feel about it, and go along and admit that the other one probably has a better idea, or so forth. So it can be a very humbling thing, because there's not a person on earth that would not prefer to have their way all the time, and for it to be a me-centered world and relationship. If we were to be honest with ourselves, that's exactly what we would be, a me-centered person. But God, that is one thing that God does not want us to be, a me-centered person. First of all, He wants us centered in Him. And secondly, the scriptures are so full of how to treat the other person and so forth. So we want to find that balance. We don't want to be abused.
Right, exactly.
We certainly don't want to be abused and be in an abusive marriage, but neither can we have our way all the time.
Yes, and that's right. I think that's for grace. Realizing that God has been so kind to us, and He has given us so much grace and kindness that we don't deserve. And realizing that that is so important, that we live that out to our spouse, that we give them kindness that maybe they don't deserve at times, because God has done that for us. And when we realize, when we have a realistic view of ourselves, that, God has been so kind to me and gives me what I don't deserve, then I think we're going to approach our spouse with much more humility, and we're going to be able to let go and give in on the little things, because it doesn't have to be all about us, because we realize it's not.
It also requires daily forgiveness.
Yes.
It's not some big something like infidelity or having an affair or something that we have to think forgiveness. We have to think forgiveness regularly, just like God does with us on a daily basis. If we're in touch with the Lord and having an ongoing intimate relationship with Him, we will find ourselves asking for forgiveness of sin in our life regularly on a daily basis. And we have to carry that over with people we work with family members, as well as, and even with our children, as well as with a spouse.
Yes, and it's really freeing. I think my husband says forgiveness doesn't make logical sense, and it doesn't, because you're opening yourself up to be hurt again when you forgive. But it's probably the best thing you can do to breathe life into your relationship, and just lightheartedness and freedom.
And it can heap coals of fire on your enemy's head, as
Yes.
the scriptures tell us.
That's true.
But we can't expect to be forgiven by God until we're willing to forgive others. That's a good note to go out on for this week. And I want you to know that we will be having Ashleigh join us again next week, and we will be discussing her book titled Team Us, Marriage Together. So I know you look forward to the rest of the story as we next week take up her book and discussing working together as a team, a couple in a marriage working together as a team. So think about that this week, and you might want to already go ahead and put some of the things we've talked about, try putting them in to practice and see how they work for you. So we look forward to you joining us again next week as we conclude our discussion with Ashleigh and her book, Team Us. And then I have something to share from a viewer with you. The first one has to do with a prayer request. Dear Dr. Freda, please pray for my son and daughter-in-law. They need healing in their marriage. They have been fighting a lot recently. Also pray for her to be saved and that he would draw closer to the Lord. There's that balance that we're talking about. Pray that they could find a good church to attend, and of course that could help them and be a plus in their marriage, meeting with other couples or meeting with the pastor or finding professional help. And then we have a very encouraging note. I do. Dear Dr. Freda, what a blessing you are. I watch Time for Hope often. Your compassion for others is like that of Christ, and I find that so very humbling, and I appreciate it. Oh, how we need more of this in the body of Christ. I pray that God richly bless you and your ministry. I greatly appreciate the note, the encouragement, and also the fact that you will be praying for me and this ministry. And if you haven't shared your prayer request or your note of encouragement with us, we certainly encourage you to do that. We look forward to hearing from our viewers, and I look forward to having you join us again next week on Time for Hope.
A free fact sheet that contains additional information about today's topic is available upon request from our ministry. You can also receive a copy of today's resource for a contribution of any amount to the Time for Hope ministry. Call us at 800-669-9133. Write us at Post Office Box 2169, Spartanburg, South Carolina 29304. Or visit our website at timeforhope.org. When you call or write, prayerfully consider a donation to our ministry. Our ministry's mission is to offer hope to discouraged and hurting people. As we continue to give out messages of hope, a financial gift of any amount to support this ministry will be greatly appreciated. When you do this, you are joining us in offering hope to many viewers seeking help and hope for their situation. This will also enable us to inform and inspire some viewers to expand our mission, as they learn and in turn can minister more effectively to hurting people around them. Until next time, have a great week, and remember, it is time for hope.